Dear friends, it's Wednesday the 25th of March, and it's been just over a week since I last spoke to you in this way. I thought I would take this opportunity just to give you a brief update and some words of encouragement. First of all, worship. I hope you all had access either to the video or the printed out version of worship that was produced over this last weekend. This was our first attempt, and I hope you found it useful. Moreover, I hope it helped you encounter and meet with God. We will produce worship every Sunday, but now that we have tighter restrictions, that worship may again be different. We may not be able to fill them in churches. We may record at home. We may not be able to include music. But we will do our best to produce something that we hope will be worshipful and will lead you to God's presence. So please do access that every week. As we approach Holy Week and Easter, we realise that this is so different. But we will produce and publish something for Monday, Thursday, and for Good Friday. As we continue, we've also had questions and requests around prayers. So we will also post some morning and evening prayer material, perhaps even from different communities, as resources that you can use as and when needed. But I also want to offer us some words of encouragement. Just 2 days ago, our restrictions got even tighter. Social distancing and self-isolation is now the new normal. These are incredible times. And whilst we do what we are told, we self-isolate and we social distance to protect each other physically, we realise that the knock-on effect can be huge in terms of the emotional and mental implications. I want to read to you some words that I came across this week. These are words from the Reverend Dr. Inderjit Bogle, who is a former president of conference and who was one of my tutors when I trained for ministry. Inderjit shared these words. I dislike the term self-isolate. We don't want anyone to isolate or exclude anyone else. Of course, you want everyone to take care of themselves and others. We are all used to the idea of staying at home for the sake of our health. We want to watch over others with love. The commandment to love God and your neighbour as yourself is best practiced in reverse order. Love yourself first. You are number one. Be a sanctuary to yourself. This is not a selfish thought. If you can love yourself and be gentle with yourself, you will better be able to love and look after and provide sanctuary to your neighbour. As we are advised on airplanes, in case of emergency, put your own mask on first before you assist others. If you don't, you may not be able to help others. If you love yourself and then love your neighbour, you are then expressing your love of and for God. This is true spiritual devotion. And remember that Jesus only ever mentioned one number. He said, where 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, I am there in the midst of them. Be in touch and in communion with 2 or 3. This is the beginning and deepest form of church and community. So friends, in these incredibly different times, as we get used to this new normal of social distancing and social isolating, I want to encourage each and every one of us, no matter which church we belong to, each of us. And the challenge is this: to each day pick up the phone and ring at least 2 people. Think about the people you speak to at church. Think about the people who sit near you. Think about the people who belong to the groups you attend. Think about the people whose family live a greater distance away. Think about the people who you might not normally speak to and who might not have as many phone calls. Pick up the phone and ring. Call. Studies show that just having a conversation with someone, hearing a human voice that is speaking to us, can reduce feelings of anxiety and loneliness. So I encourage you to do this as an act of love, as an act of care, and as an act of what it means to be church in this reality. God bless you. Be assured of my ongoing prayers as I am assured of yours. And if you need anything, if you are struggling, please don't suffer in silence. Pick up the phone. Call someone. And if you don't know who to call your neighbour. Call your minister. Call me. Please do not suffer alone. May God bless you as we journey on in these times.